Okay. Hi, my name is Edy Meredith. I was born 4 months after Pearl Harbor in a small town in northern Utah, Provo, Utah. And I was born to a multi-generational Mormon family. The first one of our family to join the Mormon Church was in about 1850, one of my great-grandparents. I was raised to thoroughly love Mormonism. I received an education in elementary school at public schools, but in junior high, high school, and college, 3 years at Brigham Young University, I was trained in Mormon church schools. I enjoyed living in the rural area that I grew up in, but when I got married to another Mormon, my husband and I moved to San Francisco, and he got a job teaching there, and I worked at the University of California in Berkeley. And we began to have access to information that we'd never had before while we were in Utah. My husband was appointed, this is in the early 60s, maybe mid-60s, my husband was appointed to a committee at San Francisco Unified School District to set up Black Studies programs. And so the publishers of Black Study books and Black history books sent them, I must have read 50 of them, and they were very thorough, very scholarly, and my husband read them too. I became convinced that the Mormon stance at that time on race had to be wrong. This caused me to question a lot of other things about the Mormon Church. I didn't believe that black people were cursed with the curse of Cain. I didn't believe that they were entitled to less privileges from God than were people of other ethnic backgrounds. And I began to also resent the way the women in my family were treated. On both sides of my family, or all sides of my family, there was the practice of polygamy. And I heard the old-time stories from my grandmothers and from my mother about what indeed had truly happened in polygamy. And so, on the basis of those two issues, which were really strong in the 60s, I left the Mormon Church. I had been had a temple marriage. I had been active in going to the Mormon temples. I had been primary president, as well as my husband doing other things. But I felt so strongly that truth was important that I silently and quietly left the Mormon Church. However, I didn't know about the biblical Jesus, even though I had studied the Bible when I was a Mormon, and I became an atheist. And that lasted a few years, and I realized that did not satisfy the longings of my heart. And I became a seeker. And I checked out virtually every religious system that you can: Buddhism, Hinduism, Sufism, which is a form of Islam, Christian churches as well. But only one person in all those years witnessed to me about Jesus, and this person was a Pentecostal, and while I know she loved God very much, her method of worship, with tongues being spoken in every corner of their church, did not appeal to me. And so I turned away from that. I did work in a Christian singles ministry for 10 years. And how amazing that no one ever spoke to me about Jesus. In 1991, the Oakland fire destroyed my home and 3,000 other homes and killed 25 of my neighbors. And it shocked me that my life was preserved, because even though I tried to be good, I didn't feel that my life was worth very much. And so I began to pray to God, and I would wake up every night at 3 a.m. just like automatically. And I would pray, not for my relationship with God, because I didn't know about that, but I would pray for everything in the world that I could think of that needed God's help. I did this for 2 to 3 years. And then I got a strong feeling, of course, that I should go someplace in the Southwest. And so I sold everything I had, packed up my SUV, and put my cat in the car, and started traveling throughout the Southwest. I went many places in Arizona, but I didn't like it. I started to listen to Christian radio, and I thought, oh, these people sound intelligent. I had thought that they couldn't be intelligent. They weren't represented in the mainstream media as intelligent, but they really were intelligent. And so I decided to drive up to Colorado Springs. I started on my way to Colorado Springs, but I stopped in Taos, New Mexico. And I even bought 50 acres there and began to build a house. And this is about 1994. And when I started to build a house, it went along pretty good until around October. And everything went wrong that possibly could go wrong. And I was left with a partially finished house. A contractor had run away. No plumbing, no electricity, and not enough money to finish it. So I stayed there in the winter. And it was very, very cold. And in January is the coldest month there, and it's at around 5,000 feet above sea level. It's could get as low as 19 degrees below zero. And on January 16th, 1995, I was the lowest I'd ever been in my life. I felt that there was nothing that I could ever do that would make this situation better. And so at about 5 o'clock, I was sitting on a chair, wasn't asleep, sitting on a chair looking up at the night stars out the window, thinking to myself, if only the God who made these stars could make my situation better. And then a prayer, a very simple prayer came out of my mouth. And that prayer was, oh, Jesus, help me. Immediately. That's as real today as it was what happened. I saw a vision of Jesus. I felt like I was a sinner, a terrible sinner. I had to put my head down, which was strange because as a Mormon, I was taught that I was good and that all I had to do was try hard. And so that's what I was doing, trying hard. But no, I knew, looking upon Jesus, that I was a sinner, that he was God, and that I was not. Even so, I had to ask him who he was. And he told me who he is. And he told me that I could learn about him by studying the Bible and only the Bible. Then I felt complete ecstasy, praise and bliss and grace I'd never felt before, and peace. I don't know how long the vision lasted, but I knew, and I said it out loud, my life will never be the same. And it never has been the same. He's still working on me. I'm not anywhere near perfect. I could never be perfect. But he has done tremendous things for me. Most of all, saved me. I'm born again. Things that were problems to me before are no longer problems. My life is not easy. I work hard, and I'm continually asking God for forgiveness for the sins that come out of me when I speak without being patient. Any kind of sin. I continue to ask Him for forgiveness, and also that He could use me to bring other people to a saving knowledge of Jesus Christ. And so I'm hoping that anyone who sees or hears what I'm saying today will do what He tells us to do. He stands at the door of our hearts and knocks. I hope you will open that door and invite Him into your life. Because any problem that you have, He can help you. He will help you. He will help you solve your problems. He will do miracles in your life like He has in mine that you just cannot imagine. And so I want to give all praise and honor and glory to God and to Jesus for the peace He has brought me, the energy, the clarity of mind. The more I study the Bible, the smarter I get. And I want to pray for that for you today. So ask Jesus to come into your heart. He's there. He's waiting.